Welcome to L360, your companion to healthy living. I am Blessing Oduni, and today we'll be discussing an issue that literally lands on your plate every day. Well, you're wondering what it is. Food safety.
I am Solomon Ededo. Food, the fuel for our body, the joy for our senses, and the glue that binds us together. But have you stopped to wonder, what's the process that this food takes from start to your table? From the farm where it is planted, to the hand that is handling it, to your table, even to the people that are cooking it. Food safety is actually the unsung hero for everything as far as healthy living is concerned. So anytime we are talking about your food, a question that should come to your mind always is my food safe? Is your food safe?
I would throw that question back to you. That is your food safe? Because I'm sure you've eaten it today. So coming to think about these questions that you've actually asked, it's actually easy to just go to a restaurant or go to the cafeteria, get your food, just eat without really thinking about the process. Because I mean, man must chop and man must live. But have you ever considered that your kitchen habits, how are they enhancing your food consumption or food hygiene or anything relating to food safety? In this episode, we'll be exploring and unraveling so many mysteries. So you just even want to stay tuned, grab your popcorn and listen. What then is food safety? Food safety can be defined as the practices involved in ensuring that foodborne illnesses and diseases are kept away, that a food is not contaminated. So right from, like you said earlier, right from the production, like to consumption. So that whole process, the food goes through processing, harvesting, processing, cooking and all. So we want to ensure that all of these processes are actually done with the safest practices.
And one way to ensure that we continue to do that is to continually review our production processes and ensure that we adhere strictly to safety standards. And you may ask yourself, are there really standards for safety? Yes, they are both government regulated. They are organizations that are out to ensure standards are maintained as far as food production is concerned, even to the industrial produced food. And one question that will always come to mind is, if all these people are in place, how come there is still unsafe food? How come we have some processed food that are below the safety standards? While we wait for answers to this question, one question we can actually ask ourselves is, how can we ensure that our food is safe? And another question we need to ask is, are there data to support the fact that there are foods that are not safe in this world? Blessing, do you have any data for us?
Well, regarding that data, that one, it shocked me in local parlance. So,
Shoot.
Did you know that according to WHO, about 600 million people annually, they fall ill just from contaminated food. So we have like 600 million people.
Population.
That's like 1 in 10. So 1 in 10 persons, 1 person in 10 people would fall ill every year from eating contaminated food. Wow. And then it results to 420,000 deaths annually. Jesus. It's very, very deep and is alarming.
And the funny thing is, the deep and alarming is actually not as deep as alarming as knowing the fact that this data you just read out is actually underreported.
Wow.
So that's not the actual data.
Okay, so what then is the actual data?
It's just the aspect that goes through the data collection process. The people that actually go to hospital, get diagnosed officially, they get these records, which the WHO then actually collects and reports.
So it means we have more.
We have more. And one thing we need to know is this: children are the most hit sets of people. About 40% of the record you read that is children, and they actually have up to 125,000 deaths annually. So then a question we need to ask, which was the second question, is how then can we make sure that our food is safe?
Well, there are many golden rules to actually ensure that our food is safe. But before we even talk about the golden rules, I actually want us to speak to how that there are foodborne illnesses, and you might have been seeing some of the symptoms around. Recently, we had an issue of cholera outbreak, and it was really serious. So it's actually an indicator. And then we have nausea, vomiting, stomach aches. These are symptoms to show that also this person or individual might have taken a contaminated food. And then we also have infections from salmonella and norovirus. So it's actually very, very important to note that the food we take per time and season needs to be free from all of these hazards. And
you know, when you say food we take in this season needs to be free, a few questions we need to ask ourselves is, what are the things we are doing currently that is making those things, you know, that will make those contaminations exist inside the food? One of them is the fact that the time we prepare this food from the time we consume them is just too far apart, making enough room for these bacteria and pathogens to actually grow on them. Another thing is to know that sometimes we keep this food under temperature that is aiding the growth of these bacteria. And also, some food we don't warm them enough, or we don't do it enough to, you know, kill these bacteria from the food. So in terms of preparation, consumption, and storage, we need to really improve as individuals and as a community for us to, you know, fight food safety.
Yeah, it's
fight food poisoning.
It's actually very, very important to ensure that the food is safe. And coming to think about what you spoke, like saying that, oh, there's a time lapse between this and that, time of cooking the food, preparing the food, and time of consuming the food. Trust our African parents to say there is cooler days. So just put your food there, it's going to be warm, and then it goes beyond just putting your food in cooler. You also have to ensure that when you want to eat the food after the time lapse and all, you still ensure that you eat it, like subject the food to it to kill the microorganisms within the food. Coming to the golden rules, ensure that the food you consume is properly processed, because we have a lot of bookers in our local palace where if you are privileged to even go to the place where they prepare the food, you would run and not even want to taste out of the food. So ensure that the place you're going to consume food and all is a very, very hygienic place. The process they follow is safe, and also ensure that raw food is separated from cooked food. So that's another thing that causes contamination, where, say for example, raw food is together with cooked food, it causes contamination. And cleaning, sanitation is very, very important. Clean hands, ensure that the utensils you use are very, very clean, and also ensure that the environment where the food is prepared is clean. Also,
you need to also talk about individuals too. So this rule is not just for fast foods, it's also for individuals. So as we wrap up today's episode, you need to understand that for our food to be safe, it's all in our hands, individually and as a community. We need to continue to put in measures to ensure that what we eat is safe, from ensuring that the places we are preparing them is clean, hygienic, to the processes, to the storage, and finally to the utensils we use in eating. So we need to continue to make sure that it is very, very safe for us to eat. That's very, very important. Thank you, Solomon. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Food Safety. We hope that you've been able to learn very educative tips that will help you stay healthy and stay informed. I am Blessing Oduni. But before we go, bon appetit, and don't forget to enjoy your safe food. Yeah, I am Solomon Ededo. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Take care.